Welcome to Faith and Freedom. For the next few minutes, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you as we discuss the legal victories and challenges to your fundamental freedoms and religious liberties. Faith and Freedom comes to you from Liberty Counsel, a civil liberties education and legal defense organization. Join us now as Matt Staver, the President and General Counsel of Liberty Counsel, explains the latest legal issues all across this country in the courtrooms of America. Liberty Counsel is winning the battle for your constitutional freedoms.
Controversy erupts over graduation at churches. Hi, I'm Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel and dean of Liberty University School of Law. Joining me is Shawn Akers, dean of the Helms School of Government at Liberty University and public policy analyst for Liberty Counsel. Shawn, this is a situation in Georgia where the school officials, the Cherokee school officials in that county, they want to have a graduation at a local megachurch. It would cost them thousands and tens of thousands of dollars less to do so than to have the same ceremonies at a secular venue with similar seating capacity that has a less pleasing ambiance and environment. Sounds sensible. They want to go to a place that gives them good seating capacity, nice environment for less cost. Wouldn't that be the thing to do? Well, not according to Americans United for Separation of Church and State. They said that no, you need to spend more money, go to a lesser, more ugly venue, because you can't be anywhere near a church during graduation.
You know, treating a church this way, Matt, this goes beyond all sense. If you want to put a price tag on both liberty and the left's willingness to drive you out of that liberty, this is a great example. As you just pointed out, at a time where we're in a recession, they could do something that looks better, that makes fiscal sense, that's cheaper, that works all the way around, but you've got one little bully group that would like to knock them out of the very prospect simply because the venue is a church.
That's right. So, you know, here is the difference in cost. In order to use the church, this school system would have to pay only $2,000 a year for graduation. But if they can't use the church, they'd have to spend as much as $40,000 to use a similar venue. Well, obviously, school boards are pushed for cash like everyone else. That's a easy business decision. Let's go use the church for $2,000 and let's save $38,000. But the Americans United said, no, you can't do that. If you have it at a church, we're going to file suit against you because that's a church and state issue. And so Liberty Counsel has sent a letter to the school district in question here, and also to other schools in the surrounding area that are doing the same thing, saying that, number one, Americans United is wrong. It's not a violation of the Constitution. Number two, we will defend you at no cost against this radical anti-Christian organization. But this is the epitome of a very atheistic organization such as Americans United for Separation of Church and State. They are anti-Christian. They are the most anti-Christian organization in existence other than a radical atheist group. And they are using the courts to try to advance their atheistic anti-Christian policies.
You know, that's the thing that makes this the most absurd and ironic, is that the thing, the weight, the big stick that this group, Americans United for Separation of Church and State, is using to stop such a reasonable decision here to use this church is the United States Constitution. Now, Matt, you have litigated Establishment Clause cases all the way up to the United States Supreme Court, and you and I both have a friend, David Barton, and I just wonder if I put you and David in a room together and ask you just for any legitimate foundation for the Americans, Citizens United for the Separation of Church and State stance here, where could they possibly be coming from?
Well, they're coming from their own radical ideology, and they use the Constitution as a cover word that it's church and state issue. It's against the First Amendment. But they can say that all they want to, just like they try to scare churches all they want to regarding getting involved in lobbying, election, public policy issues. And the fact of the matter is they've never been successful on those issues. And in here, they just want to try to intimidate. They think that, well, we will sue them and scare them, or we'll scare them with a threat of suit, and they'll back down. That's really what their hope is. that's why Liberty Counsel is coming in to say to these churches, number one, Americans United is not right. Number two, we'll stand beside you and we'll defend you at no cost. So stand your ground and do the right thing.
In fact, Matt, at the founding of our nation, you and I are fortunate enough to be here in Lynchburg, Virginia, which was the home of Patrick Henry. And there was a certain response that Henry and the other folks around that time, the founding of the nation, had when government came along and said, we're going to drive you out of your rights. They said, don't tread on me. This is one of those places where our listeners, where our people can stand up, and which is exactly what Liberty Counsel is doing on your behalf. When we send a letter to the American Citizens United for separation of church and state saying, we all know that this is absolutely not what the Constitution says. What we're saying on your behalf is don't tread on us. We're not going to tolerate it. And so far, the success record of Liberty Counsel on these fronts has been just staggering.
It really has been very phenomenal. And we thank God for that. But we need people's prayers and their financial support to keep going. Obviously, if we come in here and we say to this church, we will represent you at no cost, that's no cost to them, but it's a lot of cost to Liberty Counsel because we have to defend that. We have to provide this at no cost to them. And if we weren't able to do that, then these churches would be bullied by the Americans United for separation of church and state or by the ACLU, and they just simply lose their liberties because they can't afford to defend them. We can't afford to have that happen. So that's why we need your financial support, especially in the month of December as we come to the end of the year. It's a big month for Liberty Counsel, and we need your prayers and your financial support, not just at the year end, but throughout the year, but certainly at the year end. For more information about stocks or property or other kinds of contributions, charitable annuities and other kinds of gifts, you can call Liberty Counsel 1-800-671-1776, and we can put you in touch with resources at Liberty Counsel to help walk you through that. That would be a benefit for you and a benefit also for the ministry. But this situation here does really beg the no tread on me, don't tread on me. And we have a sticker that I have on my car, and Anita has it on her car as well. It's nice, bright yellow, and it says, don't tread on me. And it has the Patrick Henry slogan, liberty or death. And that was part of the Culpeper flag, where the first 100 Minutemen and the militia that Patrick Henry organized began in Northern Virginia in Culpeper. And they had this don't tread on me, liberty or death, his famous speech at St. John's Church. But it really illustrates, Shawn, the feeling of the people as expressed in the November election, and even more so with courts and judges and groups like this trying to use the court system to literally dismantle America and take away our freedom. People are saying, enough is enough, don't tread on me. If you want a free bumper sticker, give us a call at Liberty Counsel or go to our website at lc.org.
You know, this is also a prime time to point out, Matt, the old saying has always been that all politics is local. But in a very real sense, we found out that all politics is national, because something that happens in this small town in Georgia affects you. If it weren't for Liberty Counsel and groups like that stand up to folks like Barry Lynn and tell them that they're not going to allow this kind of illegalization of the United States Constitution, they get away with it in one place. And what that does, as you pointed out many times, is set what we call a precedent. It means that gives something for other courts to look to and say, hey, you know, a court in Georgia went a certain way, and that means that we're going to stand by that. Now let me show you just how twisted Barry Lynn and its group are with their approach to the Constitution. This is how important this is. This is a statement by Barry Lynn on this very subject. He says, we don't think that you can trade away any student's constitutional rights just to get a cheaper or bigger space, and they simply must find a secular alternative. In other words, Barry Lynn is actually standing up on the soapbox and saying that on behalf of these poor little children who would have their constitutional rights ripped away if this school system were to allow graduation in a church, he's come to their rescue, and it's not worth the $40,000 that would be saved, or the $38,000 that would be saved to have this graduation in a church.
Well, maybe the person that he represents could cough up the extra $38,000. And I'm sure if money was no problem, and it was the same cost, the church could go either way. But the church doesn't have to make a selection of a secular venue by virtue of the Constitution. That's their free choice to choose where they are going to be. It's not like the pastor is going to get up and give an altar call during graduation. They're just simply renting the facility of this church and using that facility for this venue. There was a situation in Florida where Americans United threatened to file suit. Unfortunately, the school backed down in that case. They wanted to have a graduation there, and they had to back down. Call Liberty Counsel so that these don't have to back down in Georgia.
You have been listening to Matt Staver of Liberty Counsel. Our hope is to encourage and inspire you to stand up for your faith, family, and freedoms. We can accomplish a lot when we work together. Get informed and get involved today. Sign up for our free monthly newsletter, The Liberator. We will send it out to you free of charge. Stay informed with our Liberty Alert email update. Just click on the website at www.lc.org or call us at 1-800-671-1776. Tune in next time to learn more about your rights right here on Faith and Freedom.